Holla ballers! What's going on, and welcome to Preach, the Daily Preach, the very first ever Daily Preach. God knows what this show will look like in a year's time. I have no idea. All I know is that on day one of doing this show, a solid 15 of you decided to show up. It will take place every day at this time, which is 5 PM GMT. We'll be covering some gaming news, taking your questions and all that kind of stuff. A relatively short show, but a nice bit of live interaction every single day from me to top off my working day, and hopefully when you guys get home, you can come and throw me a message. So a brofist to you all. In the shot, you can see the brofist. Couple of announcements. This weekend is the first ever game show which features you guys. That's right, you guys who subscribe to the Mike Preach Wild channel, follow us on preachgaming.com, have the option to join us, actually interact with us during our live web show. So this Saturday we'll be starting our first ever game show. A lot of firsts this week, in fact. It's going to be pretty fucking cool. So I have spoken to the people who posted on preachgaming.com and said they wanted to take part. So the teams are set for this week. So I really encourage you to tune in on Saturday at 8 PM GMT to come and join us for our first ever game show. God knows what the first one will be like, fraught with problems and errors. No doubt all kinds of issues going on left and right, but that's okay. On here is the brofist, and of course with web show, send us your brofist. Send me a picture of you throwing me the brofist, and you will also be on the Daily Preach every single day, except weekends. I'm having a break on weekends. And you can just take part, and you can be part of the show as well. So let's jump into today's gaming news. Let's get out of the way. The Steam Summer Sale is finished. A lot of you held on to the last minute. I know even members of our own little internal team held on until the very last day to see what to pick up from the Steam sale. The last day I thought was a little bit disappointing. I actually thought the BioShock bundle was actually the best, and that wasn't even a bundle discount. It wasn't. But overall, it was a pretty decent sale. We picked up a ton of games we're going to be featuring in a little series called Years Behind. We think that's the toying name we're going to do with it. So I hope you guys picked up some great games. We'll be sure to review those and let you know our feelings on them as well. And of course, the next sale will be in winter. So I hope you guys got loads of stuff to keep you busy for until the winter time. In other news, Sam Raimi, who was the director for the World of Warcraft movie, well, the Warcraft movie, not World of Warcraft movie, the Warcraft movie has pulled out. This is disastrous. Sam Raimi was responsible for the Spider-Man trilogy. I wasn't actually that upset with the Spider-Man trilogy. I thought it was pretty cool. He's actually pulled out now. He also did Evil Dead. Very famous director. He's no longer directing it. Apparently, they have started filming the Warcraft movie. Therefore, is a little bit sad, and we don't know who's directing it. We really don't know yet. All we know is that Sam Raimi said at Comic-Con he's not directing that movie. He has pulled out. Blizzard wanted to get started. He was busy. Therefore, they have found someone else and dropped Sam Raimi. Does this mean we're going to get a shitter film? It might do. Let's see who is actually going to take part. This was a big thing for us. I want the Warcraft movie to not follow in the following the steps of Doom and you know, Resident Evil. Oh, we don't want that. We want a fucking momentous movie. We really do. We want an awesome movie. So let's hope they produce something really nice, and let's hope they've got a really good director on board. It was very cool to see the comments that they weren't going to take somebody who had directed shit films, essentially shit films, and, you know, throw them into the Warcraft movie. They wanted somebody really good. It's also good news in one respect that the Warcraft movie has actually started. We're all looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like. I hope it's going to be pretty cool as well. In other news, the Guild Wars 2 beta finished this weekend. A lot of you have been asking me, am I going to be doing some Guild Wars 2 stuff? The answer to that, for me personally, is no. I have not seen anything in Guild Wars 2 that is tempting me towards investing my time into it. I've checked out a ton of information on it. Believe me, a lot of my time is spent reading and learning. And I've watched some videos and all that kind of stuff. And so far, that game just reminds me so much of Star Wars The Old Republic that I'm not going to be jumping into it this time. There are some members of the team and close members of the team who are going to be playing Guild Wars 2. Perhaps they will provide us with some footage and I can put some stuff out for you if you are interested in that. As for me personally, I got a good feeling that Guild Wars 2 is going to launch about the same time as Mr. Pandaria. Blizzard is very clever with doing that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure Guild Wars 2 is going to come out pretty much when Mr. Pandaria launches, in which case I will be tied up in Mr. Pandaria, not only because I have to be there, but because I want to be there. Guild Wars 2 so far is not tempting me in. They have a couple of changes, very similar to Rift, very similar to Star Wars The Old Republic, and very similar to all these other MMOs, these big name MMOs. There is some stuff that is slightly different and possibly better than World of Warcraft. That's fine. It isn't enough to make me give up everything I've invested in World of Warcraft. We've discussed this in the past. It's going to take something completely different, completely original, and completely new to make people want to drop World of Warcraft. If you just have a slight twist on professions, a slight twist on questing, it is not enough. It really is not enough. It's been proven time and time and again. Every MMO that's come up against World of Warcraft, in that respect, has been smashed to pieces. So it needs to be something new, needs to be something original. Guild Wars 2 just not looking like that for me. The Guild Wars 2 beta end event apparently was fantastic though, so well played to ArenaNet for that. They put on a great end of beta event and people seem to really, really enjoy it. So cool ones for that. One of the big questions we got from the Preach Gaming forums, so if you want to post questions on the Preach Gaming forums, feel free to do so. I'll answer them in the Daily Preach. Came from Ames. Ames said his post was actually regarding turning your guild around. I would like to see from your experience how you're able to make a successful guild. I've been guild leading for close to 3 years now, and I have never gotten a guild to the point of success. The definition of success in my mind being having teams of people raiding, random BGing, regularly and progressing, a place where people can be happy, working, playing together. I've tried everything I know to do, and several times I've actually gotten close to this point, but there was always something that tore it apart. How does a total baller do it? Well, first of all, thanks for your question, Names. The simple thing is you're looking for an ideal society. That will never exist. It doesn't exist in the real world. It will never exist in a game. It certainly will never exist in something where it's the internet and you have anonymous people who exaggerate their way of life through the internet, or in fact live a completely different life through the internet. There's a lot of people who do that. There's a lot of people who mask their entire real life into a real life sort of environment. It's not uncommon, for instance, to see a lot of people who played in vanilla pretending to be girls for almost 12, 24 months behind their character. It was before the time of regular voice comms and stuff like that. People like to hide and change in the internet. As such, they like to cause shit. If people have certain preconceptions about how a guild should be run and they disagree with something, even minor, that you've done in the internet world, that explodes into something absolutely insane. It really does. It becomes crazy, it becomes wild, and you cannot control it. My advice to you is, one, don't expect an idyllic society. Once you try and get this out of your head that you can create an ideal world, that is not possible, it's a huge weight off your shoulders, because then you expect problems, and you should expect problems. As a guild leader, part of that role is dealing with people's problems. Guild leading can be very difficult in terms of how personal some people are willing to get with an anonymous stranger. We're very similar to how people call helplines and stuff like that. People find it much easier to talk to somebody anonymous about their issues. I've been a guild master on several occasions. Each time, several people approach me with very personal problems and ask me for my advice. As a guild master, you assume a virtual role of authority. And anybody can be a guild master. Remember, that role of authority does not actually exist. And if you're a guild member who thinks very highly of your guild master for whatever reason, remember, this is a virtual game. That person could be anybody. I've had guild masters who have been alcoholics. I've had serious social problems in the real world. Be very aware of putting people on a pedestal who are virtually just assuming the role of buying a guild charter and getting people to sign it. Be very aware of that. In fact, some people are very, very good at leading a guild, very good at strategizing, organizing people, but absolutely terrible with social problems. Therefore, you should not try and do that. One of the main rules I developed when I formed the guild Dark Light was that your social problems are your own. Those are your own problems. I don't want to deal with them. I don't have any time for my entire fucking life. And seriously, you shouldn't be putting that pressure on a guild master, and be very, very wary of any guild master who accepts your issues and wants to know about it, because you don't know who that anonymous person is telling amongst your guild. A lot of drama in guilds is started with whispers and conversations between personal people. So in order to get a guild to be successful, you have to have strict rules and you have to adhere to them no matter who breaks them. One of the big issues that causes guilds to collapse is people assume another role of very high regard, such as a main tank. This is a huge problem in early World of Warcraft, is main tanks were held in very, very high regard, and they could break the rules quite regularly because guilds would never kill them. Or never kill them? Would never kick them. We would never kick them. You want to be not doing that. Everybody in World of Warcraft, as horrible as it may sound, is replaceable. Absolutely everybody. Everybody in the guild is replaceable. Take my guild method for an instance. We do not rely on certain people to be in certain roles. Absolutely not. If the tanks don't show up, let's say on beta, we're running 3 groups. The 2 main tanks cannot possibly cover all those roles. Then people are there to replace them. I've tanked on beta. A lot of the DPS people have tanked on beta on a regular basis. Everybody from the bottom guilds to the top guilds is absolutely replaceable, and you need to be aware of that in your back of the mind. So if someone comes to you to cause trouble, don't worry about kicking them if you think this is going to cause absolute issues for the guild. That is fine to do. Don't worry about it. Everybody is replaceable. You cannot have a perfect ideal society. So the key to making a guild successful is accept that nothing will be perfect and deal with the problems as best you can. Everybody is that guild should be there for one reason alone. You might only have one shared thing, and that could be your willingness to raid. If you're a raiding guild, the only thing that joins all those people together, the only thing, it's not friendship, it's not music or anything like that, it's the fact that they want to raid. You remind people of that. You say, look, you're only here to raid. If you've got problems with that person, I don't care. This is not a friends guild. We're not here to make best friends with everybody. It cannot happen. You have people from all over Europe, all over the world playing in one place. They've grown up in differently, they've had different experiences in life, and they are living under different rules than you are. Don't try and force them to be friends. It won't happen. And there's nothing wrong with people not liking each other in the guild. That's fine as long as they're committed to the main goal, which will either be raiding, battlegrounds, all that kind of stuff. If you're looking to try and force people to do things like random BGing, don't do that. Let the guilds form themselves. Let the groups form themselves. That's absolutely fine and dandy. Our infamous YouTube comment for today came from Abiscuit88. Abiscuit88 commented on my Elemental Shaman video, DPS Guy 4.3. Ding! Absolute garbage video. You have no clue how to Ellie Shaman noob earthquake spake. Thank you so much, Abiscuit88, for your enlightened information. It really spurs me on to know that you're out there spreading your good wisdom amongst the internet. You absolute hero. Really, really great stuff. I love that immensely. Thank you very much. I'll take some questions from the live audience quickly before we call it for today. If anybody has any quick questions, you can go away. Yes, it was WoW we're talking about how to run a successful guild. Badger S says he ran a guild since Kata. Seems so many people get the power to break guilds from the inside. For treat all the same and never try to rely on one person for one job. Absolutely. If you're running a 10-man guild, for instance, you do not need 10 people. You need around 15 to 16 people to run a 10-man guild. Everybody's replaceable, and be prepared for anybody to leave. What you want is people who can easily intermix into different roles. Very, very important, and I really like that. Okay, any questions before I go? Please go ahead. I'm sorry to see Sam Raimi's left that World of Warcraft movie. That's really sad. Really, really sad. No questions today. Okay, so this is Preach. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Preach, and you have a great time.